physics' final invention and discovery will play a key role in the process of reversal of entropy, the science of all sciences. Cosmos means the universe, the world, which was scientifically viewed as an orderly arrangement of Milky Way galaxy with our solar system, was thought to be static and unchanging until 1920s, from when both universe and the world are considered overwhelmingly dynamic. Cosmology is a branch of physics and metaphysics dealing with the nature of universe, the cosmos. Among all branches of science, physics is the foundation. A theory that challenged not only the scientific orthodoxy but also the theological worldview of Ptolemy's geocentric theory that placed Earth at the center of God's creation. A scientific inquiry towards the understanding of the cosmos by Nicholas Copernicus in early 16th century that detailed the mechanics with mathematical derivations of the heavens under a sun-centered system. This heliocentric theory also led to more nuanced theological positions. Some theologians began to argue for a non-literal interpretation of the biblical passages that seem to describe an earth-centered universe, suggesting that Scripture was not meant to teach science. Heliocentric theory paved the way for the modern scientific era. Several key laws of physics governing matter, energy, space, and time have been discovered. In physics, time is understood to be the most mysterious quality of the world. Time given by Big Bang is linear and has long been an important subject of study, but defining it in a manner applicable to all fields without circularity has consistently eluded scientists. Time forms the basis of the laws of motion, but what we won't find in any textbook is a strict definition of what time is. Many physicists now believe that time fundamentally doesn't exist at all. In theoretical physics, the problem of time is a conceptual conflict between quantum mechanics, the fundamental physical theory that describes the behavior of matter and light in subatomic particles, and general relativity, or Einstein's theory of gravity. Quantum mechanics regards the flow of time as universal and absolute, whereas general relativity regards the flow of time as malleable and relative. This problem raises the question of what time really is in a physical sense and whether it is truly a real, distinct phenomena. Circular time in nature is the concept that events repeat in predictable cycles, unlike a linear timeline that progresses from a beginning to an end denoted by arrow of time. This cyclical view is seen in natural processes with eternal recurrence of endless predictable patterns of loop or repetition with no absolute beginning or end, such as the day-night cycle, the seasonal cycle, the moon phases, the fundamental indicators of time. Water cycle, carbon cycle, rock cycle, nitrogen cycle, climate, geological transformations, and weather patterns are cyclical. Life cycles of plants, animals, including human bodies, through birth, growth, reproduction, death, and biological decomposition of their material body is considered cyclical, and all natural processes on Earth are fundamentally driven by the sun's energy. Physics defines energy can be understood as the capacity to do work, and it manifests through matter and space-time, the fields, such as in the forms of light, sound, heat, and mechanical motion, all of which are observable effects within the material world. In the world, the continued sequence of existence and events occurring in our world apparently follow irreversible succession. from the past through the present into the future time. The time seems to be linear. Even Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Muslim, view time as linear, with a distinct beginning, that is, creation unfolding through history toward a future culmination or judgment at the end time. In contrast, many Eastern religions, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, conceive of time as circular, marked by repeating cosmic cycles of creation and destruction. And the time in Western modern physics given by Big Bang is perceived as an arrow of time that is linear, not circular, because we live in the aftermath of an influential event, the Big Bang. And that gets us into a realm of the concept of entropy. Entropy is how messy, how disorganized, orderless, how random a system is. When things are nice and neat and tidy, orderly, they are low entropy. When they are all messy and all over the place, they are high entropy. And there's a natural tendency of things in the universe to go from low entropy to high entropy. However, order doesn't have a well defined meaning. Physicists say the entropy in the early universe must have been small. In the early universe, the density of the matter is high, and this means the gravitational force is strong, which is attractive, so it wants to draw the matter together. This is called the second law of thermodynamics. The real question is, why was the world ever low entropy to begin with? Why was the world lower entropy yesterday than it is today? The explanation is because it was even lower entropy the day before. And this chain of reasoning goes back 14 billion years to the Big Bang, to the origin of our observable universe, a very low entropy state. And the universe has been increasing in entropy ever since. This is called the past hypothesis. In fact, entropic expansion of universe is accelerating, suggests a rate of increase that is itself increasing. What is causing this acceleration is not known. And as on today, the presence of life has not yet been scientifically confirmed anywhere in the universe except Earth. Unsolved mysteries of science is how life began. The Big Bang theory attempts to explain to us the origin of universe and the life on earth, stating the universe is almost 14 billion years old. Huge clusters of galaxies comprise the universe. The origin of life on earth is understood to be the process by which simple, non living organic molecules became complex, self replicating life forms, a process that began with abiogenesis about 4.5 billion years ago. That is 500 million years after the formation of Earth. Some scientists believe that life came from outer space. The version of abiogenesis is accepted by majority. Big Bang mentions that universe will reach a maximum entropy state called thermal equilibrium, an inevitable consequence with matter decay devoid of energy gradients capable of supporting any further processes, assumed to be in an extremely distant future, potentially after 10 to the power of 100, digit 1 with 100 zeros, years or more. The question of how life could have begun on Earth in the first place, science has not currently definitively answered this question. Scientists feel if order is supposed to decrease over time, doesn't evolution of life as attempted by Big Bang and the current modern life thriving in a universe with increasing entropy in a way violates entropy law? Or are we thriving in chaos? The world population is showing a similar J shaped curve. 190 million people on Earth 2000 years ago and until the time of Napoleon, that is 200 years ago, were less than a billion with slow growth, followed by rapid exponential growth from the 18th century. And since the Second World War, we have been adding a billion people to the global population every 12 to 15 years. Global Footprint Network estimates that as of 2022, humanity has been using natural capital 71% faster than Earth can renew it, which they describe as meaning humanity's ecological footprint corresponds to 1.71 planet Earths. This overuse is called ecological overshoot. Sir David Attenborough mentions all our environmental problems become easier to solve with fewer people and harder and ultimately impossible to solve with ever more people. Which means, like the universe's past hypothesis, the ecological footprint had lower entropy yesterday and even lesser before. The Global Footprint Network mentions that we are close to chaos. In other words, we are at the peak of entropic population equilibrium. Can we survive 10 to the power of 100 years as per Big Bang? Or even the 4.32 billion years, the math by Eastern Hindu theologians? Overwhelmingly dynamic are the scientific discoveries too, showing a similar J-shaped curve, where physics, as the study of matter, energy, and their interactions, has gone a profound change from its classical roots to the complexities of modern physics. Pre-20th century classical physics focused on macroscopic phenomena and systems at everyday speeds and scales. Key discoveries are Kepler's laws of planetary motion, Newton's laws of motion and universal gravitation, and seven-color spectrum of light, Clausius' laws of thermodynamics, Maxwell's electromagnetism, Thomas Young's wave nature of light with seven radiations, Maxwell's finite being, optics. Post-20th century modern physics focuses on microscopic phenomena and extreme conditions of high energies. Key breakthroughs being Rutherford's discovery of the structure of atom, the crucial nuclear fission and fusion resulting in the immense destructive atomic and nuclear weapons, Einstein's theory of relativity and equivalence of mass and energy, quantum mechanics describing the behavior of matter and energy at the atomic and subatomic level. Key concepts include quantization of energy, wave-particle duality, where particles can exhibit both wave-like and particle-like properties, uncertainty principle, quantum entanglement. Edwin Hubble's discovery in 1920s observed the expanding universe, and the cosmic microwave background radiation led to the Big Bang theory, our current model of the universe's origin. And evolution by Georges Lemaitre, the widely accepted concept of the origin of life through primordial soup theory, proposing that life arose from non-living matter, Lorentz chaos theory of state of disorder in nature, string theory in the late 1960s, and loop quantum gravity of late 1980s. American theoretical physicist Richard Feynman said in 1963, "What we are looking for is how everything works. What makes everything work? What makes the universe exist?" Now, to be precise, the recent 100-year past shows scientists have observed entropic accelerated expansion of the universe. We see entropic accelerating overshoot of population, and also we see accelerated expansion of microscopic discoveries by the scientists. Could there be a connection? If so, what are we missing to establish the connection? Here on, the rest of the video is about understanding that the visible universe is mimicking us, the subtle invisible internet and world wide web of all our thinking energies thriving in chaos. We are the cause of accelerated expansion of the universe. We are what makes everything work the way they work. And thus, scientists will not ever be able to find life elsewhere in the universe because universe is our material representation. The 100-year accelerated revolution of microscopic discoveries are a drive towards the final invention and discovery. All will agree that universe is not studying and discovering us. We are. These great thinking energies are recognized even today by their material facial identity for discovering the unknown laws of universe. Thinking energy, the superior energy, is the capacity to do the invisible work of thinking and deciding that manifests through the bodily mass energy. All the discovered laws of physics apply to us. We, the beings, follow the laws of motion. The word human being, where being means to be in continual motion, transferring from one to another humus, with every action of ours to be faced with the equal and opposite reaction. With successive entropic transformations of us, the thinking energies, the superior energy. The most powerful discovery, energy, mass, momentum, charge, cannot be created nor destroyed, but follows the law of entropy. Literally means that none of these can reach the state of equilibrium because that would mean their destruction. The supreme work of establishing universal negentropy is not left to any of us subjected to entropy by body, the humus part of us, as well as thinking, the being part of us. Thus, the knower of time and initial order is the knower of science of negentropy, the supreme scientist. Says, my arrival time is the time of modern Western microscopic scientific revolution. He says, I, the supreme intellectual energy, is praised as God, the creator. My creation of negentropic gods and goddesses is praised poetically in both Western and Eastern scriptures as heaven. The scriptures too are subjected to entropy in terms of their documentation as well as interpretations. Because these laws apply to us, the superior thinking energies, and the inferior mass energy mimics us. Thus, unlike the unscientific, lack of empirical evidence, illogical, contradicting, distorted, incoherent, out of the world like misinterpretations by theologians, religious authorities, leaders, and religious scholars. The supreme scientist tells the essence of scriptures very practically and scientifically. All Western and Eastern scriptures mention of heaven and hell, along with the terms like earth, sun, moon, stars, with their personified description. They are the key role players among us 8 billion, misinterpreted to be the material objects in the sky, leading to several logies and nomies, including the modern material scientific discoveries. Represented by the symbol of Gamadian, like the clock moving forward, are the terms golden, silver, copper, iron. Describe the second law of thermodynamics, which defines entropy is a measure of how likely a system is to be in a certain configuration. Formally, entropy measures the number of microstates per macrostate. A microstate is the exact definition of the state of the system. A macrostate is an average over many microstates. The more microstates, larger is the entropy. Golden and silver age or phase is the isolated heaven, the day of negentropic singularity, a macro state of ancestors, virtuous gods and goddesses, tied to the string of purity, of Wi-Fi, the wireless fidelity, and concentrated attraction of strong universal gravitational force of Adam, the one ruler or God, created by God, the supreme intellect, in his own negentropic image. And the period of entropy begins here, aptly called the Copper Age, when the formation of a separate galaxy, created by Abraham, with spontaneous breaking of the isolated heavenly symmetry, rolling into multiple planets and galaxies. The microstates of relative gravity of Abraham, Buddha, Jesus Christ, etc., 7 stars, again break into numerous microstates within and across. The thinking energy of ancestral people of this macro state here on is influenced by their string of passion, and by this Iron Age, many more microstates emerge under the influence of the string of ignorance, the dark energy of accelerated expansion of uncontrolled speed of thinking that drains us the superior energy at an accelerated rate. The ever firm Adam here authors the first scripture, Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, owing to his visions of the previous transformation time just before the end of the negentropic heaven. This being the minute entropy time, all laws of physics are poetically mentioned in the Gita. Adam Arjuna mentioned in the Gita that knowledge, thing worth knowing, actions, doer, intellect, power to control or stabilize thinking, bodily means such as senses, assimilation, happiness, and material nature, including food, are of 3 types, in accordance to 3 gunas, the 3 strings, namely full purity here, full of passion here, and accelerated darkness here. Coming to the linearity of time, the 3 Western Abrahamic religions exist only during the night of high and accelerated entropy. The Western thinking energies at rest during this half begin their existence just 500 years before Christian era. Thus, they are ingrained with the habitual memory of malleable and relative time linearity. Also is seen in their nightly observation of the theory of Big Bang with respect to the origin of universe as well as origin of life. Hence, in the modern scientific community, the term total negentropy is often considered hypothetical or even nonsensical within standard physics. None of the 8 billion subjected to entropy, that is, mortal of thinking energy humans, cannot know the mystery of time. Adam's entropic thinking energy, transferring into his last bodily form, is the measure of finite time, the aboriginal absolute measure of wheel of time. His last bodily chariot is the indicator of time to end entropy, Maxwell's finite being. Thus, knower of definition of heavenly order, Kala, the time, and the knower of entropy reverser, Adam, is the one supreme intellect who arrived in 1936, a time of all-round peak entropy, time of discovery of acceleration of the universe, the time when entire population is chaotic with uncontrolled thinking, accompanied by scientific revolutions with the purpose of revelation of the practical knowledge of negentropy to all the 8 billion by 2036, close to Newton's prediction. The end time large-scale educational and judgment system mentioned in all scriptures. Under the direction of supreme intellect, Adam, the finite being, pulls in those few who experience the circularity of time, and their negentropic transformation results in the increase of entropy in the rest of the world. Supreme Intellect mentions that it is the Western scientists, the newer, thus powerful thinking energies of the current time, with the knowledge of nanoparticles, will play the role of revealing the power of us, wave like superior energies, subtler than subtle photon like point of light, seated in the center of the brain's frontal lobe, a point intersecting between the eyebrows. Other nouns of us thinking energies are man, atma, prana, hrudi in Sanskrit, are soul, consciousness, breath, essence, spirit, psyche, nafs, nefesh, heart, person, being, mind, will, etc. The unification between macro and micro sciences, philosophical sciences, human created mythologies, including all other logis and nomis, pseudosciences like occult, alchemy, and mysticism all stand unified with supreme science, the spiritual knowledge, the laws of us thinking energies, souls. The overview of a robust and comprehensive framework with math of the most confidential knowledge of both the negentropic and the entropic halves and the present crucial transformation time is imparted at Adam's Godfatherly Spiritual University, AIVV. Free of charge overview is given in 7 days, an hour per day, 1-to-1, covering the basics on various terminologies and the dual waters of knowledge of the three important souls of our world, the Trinity, the ever negentropic supreme intellect, Sun, the ever firm personality, Earth, the central soul of God's creation, Adam, and his son, Moon, and his 7 stars. Entropy accelerates with the popularization of entropic crescent moon Krishna Chandra as the ever negentropic creator. Here, at the end of high entropy. Same happens in Abrahamic religions too, leading to accelerated increase of entropy owing to all-round clashing opinions by here. Logically, the 8 billion population will follow the order of J-shaped curve till 2036. This video is mainly designed for the scientists and the science-minded population to understand why the laws of physics are the way they are and how they would be during the negentropic half when we, the thinking energies, are totally stabilized in the state of free of thoughts can be understood after the 7-day course. Please use these AIVV India, the country of Aboriginal Indian, the absolute origin Adam, Adideva, Jagatpita, Shiva Shankara.